Good afternoon, distinguished members of the press. We are glad to have you here in the office of Senator Liberian Darius Dillon on this 24th day of February 2026. We're here specifically today so the Senator can interact with you and engage with the public on specific subject matters, including the recent submission of bill ranging from the claims code establishment onward to formulating and establishing the LPRC as a statutory authority in the Republic of Liberia, and with other major updates that the public will be able to understand the workings of the Senator. With that being said, distinguished members of the press, we are now introduce you the Senator, Honorable Senator, the press.
Thank you. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen of the legislative pool, media institutions accredited to the Senate. And good afternoon, good morning, good day, wherever you are following on the social media. We'd like to welcome all of you to our office. Just two things we want to give update. We submitted two bills. One on last Thursday for the submission to the Senate for consideration to establish a claims court. And today we made another submission of a bill to establish the Liberian Petroleum Refinery Company, LPRC, into statutory existence. And we wanted you to know that especially regarding the claims court. The claims court gets its backing from Article 26 of the Constitution of Liberia. In simple terms, the claims court, when established, will give the opportunity to citizens, individuals, private entities, the venue, constitutional venue to sue government and agents of government for rights abuse. The claims court, as required by the Constitution, Article 26 of the Constitution, will provide and will be the only platform available where citizens and institutions can sue government for rights abuse. Only rights abuse. Your right to live, your right to own property, your right to freedom. Once your rights are abused, there is no court in the republic that grants the right to citizens, the opportunity to citizens to sue government and agents of government acting on behalf of government when rights are abused. So the Constitution, Article 26, provides that platform and that avenue to use the citizens to check government's excesses, especially when it comes to rights abuse. Regarding the LPRC, we submitted today for consideration to the Senate, and I believe we have support of our colleagues to enact LPRC into law. LPRC as an institution has been operating on articles of incorporation since 1978. There is no provision of any law that gives the governance structure of LPRC, and no provision of any law that authorizes the president of Liberia, whether it's Joseph Nima Bwaka today, whether it was Ellen Johnson Sally yesterday, or George Weah, or whether it was President Samuel Doe. There is no law that gives authority to the president of Liberia to appoint people at LPRC. So I want to give a statutory existence to LPRC in keeping with the provision of Article 89 of the Constitution that grants authority to the legislature to enact additional agencies and commissions, public agencies and commissions, and give them the governance structure. So we want to do that. We believe that our colleagues will support those two laws, those two bills for passage. and I will be working along with my colleagues in the House of Representatives so we can lift the statute of limitation bill that put on the floor and was passed by the Senate in July of last year is before the House of Representatives for concurrence. I just wanted to brief all of this and then we can open up for question and answer.
Thank you, Senator. So we'll take the first 3 questions and then we'll proceed. Yes, yes.
Yeah, I'm Nelson from Spoon. So, Senator, my concern has to do firstly with the LPRC. They push now to take it to statutorily establish it instead of just article of incorporation. What is the LPRC going to do differently under this new arrangement that you're pushing for? Is it going to change anything that the LPRC has been doing in the past?
So we'll also be looking at the authority of LPRC to be regulator of the downstream sector of the oil and gas sector, and whether they will remain as regulator and just or as the entity of government responsible to ensure all the other functions that they have been exercising. We have the LPRA, which regulates the upstream sector of the gas sector, like they regulate NOCA. LPRC right now is the regulator, the licensor, and LPRC is doing commercial importation, LPRC doing retail and all that stuff. So we want to put all of those into proper perspective so that LPRC can have a specific defined statutory function with the governance structure as to who can be appointed, what authority can appoint who at LPRC. This is all part of the reform of the arrest agenda to give this country a systemic structure that the country can be proud of going forward, so that one entity can have all these duplications of function and power all assigned by a statutory act. And normally when you're operating under articles of incorporation by law, you are existing under the Business Association Law of Liberia. That makes you a private public business entity that must register with your business registration every year. I'm not sure I'm not even sure the last time LPRC did a business registration operating and rely only on articles of incorporation. We need to set these things straight for reform purposes.
Senator, my name is Glamoto from Liberian President. A few time ago, your colleague, Senator Abachi, also raised this issue about giving the statutory mandate to the PRC.
Yeah.
And you are also taking similar path and is proposing a bill. Is there any collaboration between you and your colleague?
Yes, it is. Senator Abachi is also a member of the Judiciary Committee, and these bills will be before the Judiciary Committee. I just told you that this bill has some very popular support with the Senate, and I'm sure the House and even LPRC as an institution, I believe, will welcome this, so that we can structure this government institution properly, and then we can find a means by which to be required by law to contribute to the national budget.
Okay, yeah, Senator, since the introduction of this bill, talking for the establishment of the claims court,
yeah,
there has been concern in the public that we already have so many courts established in the country. We have the debt court, we have several courts across the country. How is this claim court different from the courts we already have established in Liberia?
You have a duty, all of you, and all of us. Look, civics must really be reintroduced in our schools. And as a member of the Committee on Education in the Senate, we are engaging with the Ministry of Education to reintroduce civics back in our school. And maybe I'm running too fast, but we got about 10 schools already set up under the Ministry of Education, beginning with Montserrado, that civics will be reintroduced into by September this year. The academic year that will start in September this year, it will begin with 10 schools. Why 10 schools? I'm still yet to wonder, but at least it will be a beginning now. The reason I'm throwing all of that to come to the question is because sometimes if we understand these basic things, we won't argue. Nelson, the criminal code A, B, C, D, and even E that has to do with rape, D has to do with armed robbery, A has to do with capital offenses, especially like treason, murder, rape, anything that is especially not bailable. Those are criminal codes to which only the government can sue. Because crimes are committed against the state, even if the person, the individual citizen, is the victim of that criminal act, only the government can prosecute for crimes. So crimes are committed against the state. But it is the government and agents of government anywhere in the world that will normally carry on rights, fundamental rights abuse. There is no debt is a legal commercial transaction between two parties or more. It is not a fundamental rights violation. Let me break it down. If a police officer, unfortunately, used government bullet and shot a citizen to death, and that death is deemed to be also of order, they discharge that police officer, they take him to court, they charge him with manslaughter or murder. The court may find that police officer guilty. The police officer goes to jail. The body that was killed is buried. Everybody go home. The right to live that government bullet took away, the family has a right to press claims charges. And the only place that charge or that claim can be done in keeping with the Constitution is in the claims code. If you read Article 26, it says, such claims for rights, R-I-G-H-T-S, not the R-I-C-E. The only place the claims for rights can originate is in the claims court. And appeal therefrom go to the Supreme Court. You can't take that kind of rights claim to criminal code A. You, the citizen, don't have any platform where you can sue government or sue agents of government, even like me acting in my road. A government wanted to clear up a road. A government demolish your property. Your right to property has been violated by government. Where do you sue government? It is the claims court as required by Article 26 of the Constitution. No citizen, no organization, no non-citizen can sue government on rights issue.
Is it that none
You
of
can carry government to court. A government or your business entity, that issue is not a rights issue. It's not a rights issue, it's a business transaction. You the tender, you transact that business with government, and government pay you, you take government to court. And debt issue of debt. Citizen and business, ordinary. When government acts in a way that violates your fundamental rights, in order to get compensation or to correct government, you have a platform to go through, and that platform is required under Article 26. And so we put this bill on the floor on last Thursday. We have gotten a lot of calls from serious lawyers and judges in this country, hailing our effort and our and I wanted to name this bill in honor of one Professor Augustus Jones. He has advocated for the establishment of the claims code for years, with deaf ears. The 1986 Constitution made it a compelling action that we must take as a country to provide an opportunity and a legal platform where citizens and institutions, private institutions, can sue government for rights issues, right violation. There is nowhere else that you have a citizen to sue us and will violate your rights.
Yeah, finally from my end, Senator, does that mean that all other rights and claims, issues that citizens have raised against the government, taking taking the government to court on in time past, does that mean that the court
upon establishment of the court?
No, I mean now that the court is yet to be established,
yeah.
Does that mean that previous actions have been illegitimate?
Where do you go? Where's the platform? Where have you heard that a citizen sue government for violating their rights? There is no platform, and that platform is authorized by Article 26 of the Constitution. Government in and out, time and again, have refused to either open the Constitution to their provision or deliberately closing it on you. And maybe because you don't know, so you don't know that you have some authority in the Constitution to demand your lawmakers to establish this court. And that is why the grace and the courage is there. So if I violate people's fundamental rights as an agent of government, those persons or that person now will have a platform to sue government for rights, claims where people can be justly compensated. It happens around the world, only in a world where you don't have clean court to seek justice for rights violation. Yes. Okay.
Yeah. So my name is Yanti.
Let's take the feedback.
Thank you. I'm Kemazina from Prime FM. So I want to know, what is a guarantee if the court is established that citizens will have the full, maybe they will have the guarantee that if they sue a government officials, they're going to win that case?
The law is there. The law will be there. Let's do the court. Even if we bar in the government, there will not always be bar people. Let the institution be there. But I believe with the establishment of the court, citizens will have the right to test the law and benefit from the law. So government, it will help to mitigate and alleviate government exercise on rights abuse. I am a senior member of the government, and we have the courage to do this. It says a lot about our courage to do the right thing as a government, especially this rescue government, to leave legacy for our country and our people, to have a platform where we can seek redress for rights abuse.
Okay.
Yeah. So my name is Yanti Togwa, work for OKFN. Well, I was just reading a publication done by the analysts in 2020, okay. And there was this group they called the Kabila, the management of Kabila. They've been advocating for the claims court, okay. But then they made reference to an action taken by the House of Representatives somewhere in 2012, okay. And that action was introduced at the claims court, but then they said it was introduced by former Representative Jeff Barron Brown. Okay. But then the House passed the instrument on April 22, 2012, and then on March 26, 2013, the House of Representatives passed that claim code, and then they sent it to the Senate, okay. For concurrence. And that bill had been in the Senate committee room, and since then that group had been stationed a protest somewhere around 2020 to ensure that the Senate can concur with it.
Since 2012?
Since 2012. Okay. So whether have you been able to come across such, whether did you do due diligence to ensure that whatever you are proffering doesn't come in conflict with whether it has been introduced here at the legislature?
You know, 2012, I'm just hearing that. If it is in the committee, if it is before the Senate, we can also do what they call consolidation. It's not about credit taking, it's about something being done. If the House passed it in 2012, just imagine 2012, was that where I was? I would have been near the Capitol building when it comes to the election, right? 2012, 2013, 2014, 2015, 2016, 2017, one government came. A whole new government came and passed, right? So if it is before, that means it was before the 53rd legislature. Yeah. We are in the 55th legislature, okay? So the bill goes to the committee, we'll do all our due diligence sessions, and if it is a bill that is before the committee from 2012, we can look at it and do some inclusion and subtraction, but the bill, the court must be established. And in fact, if not Thursday, which is day after tomorrow, Tuesday of next week, I'm submitting a bill to amend Chapter 17 of the revised code of law of Liberia, known as the Judiciary Law of 1972. You know what we're doing? We want to amend the jurisdictional authority of Criminal Code D to include that of the prosecution for drug and drug-related cases. So that Criminal Code D would not only be sitting down waiting for armed robbery cases, there will be basic prosecuting drug and drug-related cases. Especially, to vest the Criminal Code D with that jurisdiction. And I'm taking this action to show the manifest concrete will of this administration with Joseph Boaga and the rescue government for us to do these things and demonstrate concrete action. We want a special court that will prosecute drug and drug-related cases. So we'll be submitting yet another bill on the floor for that. Right now, you carry drug-related cases to the court. Code A, Code B, all those dockets are crowded out looking for other cases that were there before. You want one court established for that. And just before you guys leave, you need to either be reminded, and the Judiciary Committee will be holding a public hearing tomorrow on a lot of bills, including some of these. You need to be reminded that the President pro tempore of the Senate, in conjunction with Senator Joseph Jada of Lofa, Senator Nyomdi Kanga Lawrence and Joseph Jada jointly sponsored and submitted the bill to establish the fast-track anti-corruption court. Since November last year, the Judiciary Committee of the Senate will be reviewing those bills tomorrow in a working session in a public hearing beginning at 1 o'clock tomorrow. This session before we close, we want to pass on a lot of meaningful governance acts and send it to the House for consideration for concurrence. So I want to thank you. If there is no further question, God bless you.
Thank you so much. Thank you, members of the press, and we look forward